Hello and welcome back to the Big House for WCBN sports coverage of Michigan football. I'm Jeremy Parks. Alongside me in the booth tonight, Alec Geese. You're joining us for the annual Michigan spring game. Tonight's feature between Team Maize and Team Blue. Don Brown, the new defensive coordinator in charge of the Maize squad, and Jed Fish in charge of the Blue team. The anthem was just finished. The coin toss, it appears, is about to get underway. A lot of storylines headed into tonight, Alec. Quarterback battle, a huge thing here in the game tonight. Running back depth. Where does Jabril Peppers fit into this new Don Brown defense? The defensive line coming out of last year. What are you most looking forward to in tonight's game?
Well, like you said, the quarterback battle is certainly an intriguing storyline this spring with the departure of Jake Rudock. Many thought John O'Corn would emerge as the starter, but it seems that Wilton Spate's been taking a lot of the first team reps in camp this spring. This quarterback battle is something that's going to carry into fall. It's going to be decided probably right before the Hawaii game, but it will be fun to see these guys go out and compete tonight. Another thing looking forward to seeing this game, the linebacking core. The Wolverines lost guys like Desmond Morgan and Joel Bolden. That's guys who had a combined 154 tackles last year. Looking forward to seeing freshman Devin Bush Jr., who many think has a chance to compete to start an inside linebacker, come in and compete for a starting job, as well as Ben Gedeon, who saw playing time last year and is likely to see time for the Wolverines this year.
Again, there has been no decision made in the quarterback battle yet. That'll play out likely over the course of the summer practices. But one thing that we did see so far already, Wilton Spate was down captaining for the Maize squad, taking the coin toss, the only quarterback involved in the leadership. And any thoughts as to where you think that might shake out?
Well, Wilton Spate was experienced last year. He saw time. He saw meaningful time in that Minnesota game, finished the game off when Rudock was hurt. So he's the most experienced out of the bunch. Certainly, John O'Corn, I think that many thought that he was going to come in and take this job at the beginning of spring, but I think they're showing him that it's competitions, that there is competition here, and that he has a chance, that John O'Corn has a chance to come in and be big for the Wolverines.
Well, this is going to be a bit of a loose game. It will take an eight-minute quarter type format, and Jim Harbaugh is going to be out on the field about the entire game, giving out pointers, critiquing how things are being run. So it's not going to be strictly like a well-run football game in the fall. There's going to be a lot of things going on. We'll do our best to keep you all up to date with that action as it unfolds out on the field. But right now, the Maize team is going to be kicking off to the Blue team, and they're awaiting like a little bit of a concert that's going on down on the field. Looks like Drake Johnson will be back for the Blue team to receive. And the referee's waiting to get this one underway just a moment. Beautiful night here in Ann Arbor, 50 degrees, your game time temperature. Sun peeking out through minimal clouds. The lights are on already, but that sun slowly starting to set behind us. It will be full night by the time this one is done. Pretty good turnout so far, Alec. I would guess, I don't know, anywhere from 60,000 to 70,000 maybe.
Yeah, for sure. The sideline bleachers are full in the Big House. The end zone's about half full. Very good turnout. Many people excited about this year's Wolverine squad.
Kenny Allen, last year's usual kicker, is getting set for his team. A little bit tricky. The Maize team wearing white jerseys tonight. Kenny Allen is back. This is your first look at Team 137. Allen with the kick. Johnson's going to take this one at about the 5-yard line. Scoots out through midfield, and the play has already been blown dead. Johnson took that one straight up the gut, and the play was blown dead as he hit about the 25-yard line, making no contact with anybody.
Doesn't look like they're going to do a full return here. It looks like they're just trying to keep guys healthy, get some reps, get some practice running down the field on the kickoffs, but nothing too full speed there. Got to keep guys healthy for the regular season.
So the Blue team coming out now under the direction of John O'Corn, the new number 8 under the gun for the Wolverines. Ball's going to be placed on the left hash of the 30-yard line. O'Corn under the gun with Drake Johnson in the backfield. I formation. O'Korn takes a snap, hands off to Johnson. He breaks out right, is met about 2 yards after the 30, gets out to close to the 35-yard line. Looked like Delano Hill was in on the initial tackle.
Well, like you said at the beginning of the broadcast, Michigan very deep at running back. Drake Johnson is a guy who's coming back with a lot of experience, and I think he's going to be someone this year who's going to get a lot of time for the Wolverines and have a big impact on this offense.
Ball's placed at the 34-yard line. O'Korn under center again. Henry Poggi, the fullback. O'Korn hands off to Johnson again. He gets out right, but is met behind the line with the initial contact, Big Mo Hurst. And he's wrapped up as he falls forward for maybe a gain of a yard out to about the 35-yard line.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh keeping it very vanilla here to start. Just going classic Michigan hard-nosed football with the fullback and the I formation. Nothing too crazy. Just keeping it simple, not giving away too much.
Definitely taking their time. Jim Harbaugh involved in the pre-snap huddle for the blue team. O'Korn's going to come out of the gun this time. Johnson still out to his right. Drake Harris out on the right in motion. O'Korn drops back. He's going to take this one himself. Has some room. Slides at the 40. Looks like the ball's going to be placed at the 41-yard line. A good scramble by John O'Korn. And it looked like Kingston Davis forced the slide.
Well, without a doubt, John O'Korn, probably the most athletic of the group of quarterbacks. He certainly has the ability to scramble and make things happen like we just saw there.
It was Tyree Kinnell, actually, who came in on that cross coverage and forced the slide from O'Korn. Going to see a lot of switching up out on the field there today. Going to be a difficult one to try and find all the names really quickly. O'Korn is set up in the offset I. O'Korn's back, fakes the handoff, gets it out over to Poggi on the left side, but he's met immediately by Jordan Lewis out on the left flat. Good big yard saving tackle by Jordan Lewis, the star of this Michigan defense last year. Expecting big things from him again in the coming season.
Yeah, it looks like Jim Harbaugh, this is O'Korn's first real playing time in the big house. He's looking just short intermediate throws to get O'Korn comfortable out there.
A lot of I formation for O'Korn so far. Drake Harris is out. The lone receiver on the right-hand side, stacked on the left. Offset I now. O'Korn fakes the handoff, gives it to Johnson. Johnson busts out left, breaks a couple of tackles, and gets himself out to about the 48-yard line, bouncing himself off for a nice second down gain. Kyle Kalis on the tackle.
Michigan run game looking good early here. Drake Johnson, a couple of good runs for about 5 yards here we've seen early.
Kalis on the block, my mistake. DeMonte Thomas on the tackle. Looks like we're going to have a lone back here. Believe that's Kareem Walker, the first look at the new star recruit running back. O'Korn drops back. He's chased out of the pocket, but has a good bit of running room and gets himself out past midfield and down to about the 45-yard line on the other side of the field. Ben Gideon on the tackle, one of the men you think is a leading candidate for starting linebacker this coming year.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, this is a linebacking core. Like I said, they lost their two best players in Desmond Morgan and Joe Bolden. So they have a lot of tackles to fill. I mean, that's 54 combined tackles that they have to find a way to make up for this year. And Ben Gideon is one of the players who saw playing time last year and is experienced.
Shane Morris out on the field now as he lines up on the left-hand side with Drake Harris. O'Korn is in the gun with Kareem Walker out to his right. O'Korn takes the snap and drops back. He's looking for Morris. He has him out on the left flat, but overthrows him wide, and that'll be his first incomplete pass of the day. Believe that was DeMonte Thomas on coverage over on Shane Morris out on the left flat. O'Korn, the transfer from the University of Houston, a school really known for their air raid offense, racking up huge amounts of passing yardage. Something that this Michigan team hasn't really seen in the last couple of seasons, a quarterback known for his big arm.
Yeah, without a doubt, Jake Rudock is a guy who came from Iowa, was more of a game manager, short intermediate throws, but John O'Korn certainly has the ability to throw it downfield and make big plays.
Shane Morris is now under the gun. Gonna have an offset eye with Drake Johnson in the backfield. Morris drops back. He's got plenty of time. Good coverage. He rolls out left, trying to target over on the left flat. I think it's going to be Sloss over there in coverage, and I believe he was looking for Bunting. over on the left-hand side, but another incomplete pass for these Wolverines. Tried to throw it up over top of the coverage. And it looked like Bunting might have gotten a hand on it and then dropped it.
Yeah, not a lot open there for Shane Morris. We've already seen O'Korn a little more athletic than Shane Morris, so he has the ability to make some of those broken plays into a little more, but
attention to downs too much, but it is technically 3rd and 10. O'Korn is back in, out of the gun with Drake Johnson off to the right. O'Korn drops over left. He's got a complete pass over out on the left-hand side to, might have been Harris, might have been Wangler. Can't quite tell. I believe it was Wangler. And it was Wangler out on the left. Good completion. Is going to be good for 5 yards, short of the first, and it looks like we'll see just another offensive play. No need to do any punting here this afternoon. O'Korn is back under center. Johnson's still in the backfield again. He's got Harris out to the right. Looks like we had a quick jump. Going to be an offside. Looked like it was Garrett Miller who jumped first on the line. Miller, the defensive tackle. Just a little bit jumpy, and we do have full refereeing crews out here today making the calls. And they are going to give them full penalty yards, so it will be a first down, I believe, for the blue team. It was 4th and 5. We'll see how they mark it up on the scoreboard. They will indeed give them the first down. Ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. Things progressing pretty slowly. Harbaugh is back again in the huddle with the blue team, keeping an eye on how John O'Korn is running that offense.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh just wants to see how his quarterback handles the huddle, be involved. It's still early in spring.
O'Korn in the I formation. Johnson in the backfield. Poggi, the fullback. Drops back, looking up the middle. He's going to have some room to run. Tries to get around, but unable to do so. He's wrapped up by Lawrence Marshall, 6'4", 250 defensive end out of Southfield, Michigan. Made a good play there as O'Korn tried to scramble out of the way. He's had a few opportunities to show his legs early here.
Yeah, he has. He looks a little uncomfortable in the pocket early, and that's something that people saw at the open practice at Ford Field. He seemed a little uncomfortable in the pocket, and we can see that here. He's taken off and running pretty quickly.
O'Korn going to be in the shotgun now with Johnson out to the left. He's got Drake Harris out to the right. He's going to be flushed out of the pocket. He's escaping left. He's got nowhere to go as he's wrapped up by Mike McCray.
Yeah, nothing O'Korn could do that time. Defense brought the blitz. O'Korn was rushed out of the pocket pretty quickly and just had to take the sack on that one. Not much you can do there.
Going to be a loss of 6 on the play, and it will leave the blue team with a 3rd and 16. We'll see what Jed Fish breaks out here for O'Korn. Interesting to note that O'Korn is working on Jed Fish's blue team, and of course Fish is the quarterback passing game receivers coach, sort of having O'Korn under his tutelage tonight as he's in the midst of that quarterback battle. O'Korn comes out of the gun, drops back, he's looking right. He's got Drake Harris out on the right, floats one, and it's caught by Harris just shy of the 10-yard line. What a throw by O'Korn to float that one in there. Harris with some good concentration to bring it in at the 12-yard line. Kenneth Sloss was in coverage, unable to make the play. What a nice pass from John O'Korn.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful pass there by John O'Korn. Threw it back shoulder where only Drake Harris could get to the ball. Beautiful right down on the sideline, and Drake Harris made a great adjustment and a great catch. Just a great play there from the blue offense.
First good pass of the night that we've seen from O'Korn. Big yardage gainer on a long 3rd and 16. O'Korn under center. Johnson in the backfield. He's got Harris out to the left now. Drops back, hands off to Johnson. Johnson cuts right. He's good for about 2 yards as he scoots across the 10. DeMonte Thomas on the tackle.
Well, you got to think that last pass by John O'Korn's got to make him a little more comfortable in the pocket. He'd been just working on short intermediate throws, been running a lot, but he made that nice throw downfield. Now he should be a little more comfortable dropping back and making throws.
Some interesting substitutions as Shane Morris has re-entered the game.
Very interesting to see Shane Morris lining up at receiver. Something I didn't think we would see.
Timeout called. 57 seconds remaining here in that first quarter of play. And the blue team will come into the huddle with their head coach of the night, Jed Fish. Also on that blue team coaching staff, fitness coach Greg Madison, Chris Partridge, the old coach from Paramus Catholic out in New Jersey, where Michigan has begun to recruit pretty heavily these days. And then tight ends coach Tyrone Wheatley and Mike Zordlik.
Yeah, like you said, Michigan absolutely recruiting pretty heavily in New Jersey. Two of their biggest recruits in Kareem Walker and Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary arriving in the fall. Kareem Walker arrived early in the spring, has been with the team during spring camp. Two of their biggest recruits coming from that New Jersey area. So yeah, Harbaugh definitely trying to reach into that New Jersey area and recruit as well as he can.
Harbaugh chatting with Jed Fish over on that right sideline, the near sideline to us, up in our booth. And it looks like O'Korn will be in again. It looked like Shane Morris was going to enter the game on the offensive side of things, but he's been brought back after the timeout.
Shane Morris been a little bit of a wild card here early, been lined up at receiver and quarterback.
O'Korn under gun, or under center, drops back, fakes the handoff to Johnson. He's looking right, unable to get out the small screen pass, a little bit of chippiness. He was looking for Magnuson, it looked like, as Magnuson tried to roll out over to the right. Incomplete pass leaves him with a 3rd and 8, ball's on the 9-yard line. 54 seconds left here in the first of 4 quarters tonight. Each quarter going to be 8 minutes. And as we've already seen, a lot of switch-ups happening, a lot of tweaking. Looks like O'Korn's going to come back under center, but he's going to have Shane Morris out to the left and Johnson out to the right. Puts Morris in motion. He comes back across his right-hand side, and he's going to find Morris for a screen pass. A little flea flicker, and Morris is going to find a wide-open Drake Johnson in the end zone. A little trickeration leads to the first touchdown of the game for the blue team, coming from the arm of Shane Morris.
Something I did not think we would see this spring. I thought the Michigan coaching staff would stay very vanilla, but we saw there Jim Harbaugh sending Morris in motion, throwing him the pass in the bubble, and then having him throw to the far side. Nice play.
Well, he's a quarterback by nature. Played a little bit of receiver there, able to get the pass and make a nice throw to a wide open Drake Johnson in the end zone for the score. And the extra point is up and good. Andrew David, sophomore kicker out of Massillon, Ohio, making the extra point for the blue team as they take a 7-0 lead here in the first quarter with just 48 seconds remaining. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football.
Yeah, I see there Harbaugh dialing up a couple big plays. We saw the big pass to Drake Harris on the sideline on that drive, and then we saw the trickeration with the little bubble pass to Shane Morris. Like I said, something we really didn't think in a spring game we'd see Harbaugh come out and be this creative. We thought he'd just stay simple, let the fans see the team, but he's coming out here in a nationally televised game and showing some trick plays, so very surprising here early.
That scoring drive, 15 plays, 70 yards, taking 7:12 off the clock. Again, that drive was kept alive. It was 4th and 5, and an offside penalty on the Maize team, courtesy of Garrett Miller, extended that drive and allowed the blue team to put the first points of this spring game on the board. Don Brown, the highly touted defensive coordinator in charge of the Maize team, can't be happy with his defense so far. Really, Don Brown has been touted for how much he loves to blitz with his defenses. I don't think we're going to see a lot of it tonight. Maybe a little bit more focus on the coverage game, but we really didn't see a lot of blitzing coming on any of those defensive plays on that last drive.
We saw a few with the Shane Morris sack and John O'Korn sack, but yeah, really not much blitzing from Don Brown, which is something we thought we'd see.
Kick is back. Looks like Grant Perry's there for the Maize team. And a flag is thrown as the kickoff goes out of bounds. Took a harsh bounce over to the right and squirts out of bounds at about the 1-yard line. That'll give good field position to the Maize team for their first offensive drive of the game. So we sort of flip sides now, these two teams. The blue team under Jed Fish, very primarily an offensive guy, wide receivers, quarterbacks, and passing game. And then over on the other side of things, you've got Don Brown in charge of the Maize team. Great defensive coordinator, new out of Boston College. And then you've got Tim Drevno. We'll see how things kind of balance out as they go so far, but a confident first drive by that blue team leads to 7 points on the board.
Yeah, without a doubt, that blue offense looked very good on the first drive. Couple big plays and then a mental mistake by the Maize team. So we'll see if this Maize team can come back here and answer. Wilton Spate under center. Should be exciting to see his first reps of the spring.
Wilton Spate really came out of nowhere this week and was posted as one of the top 3 in that quarterback battle as he lines up under center. He's got Ty Isaac in the backfield. He hands off to Isaac, who tries to get out left, battling for yards as he's forced down for a loss of 3. Back to the 32-yard line. In on the tackle, Brandon Watson.
Yeah, nowhere really to go there for Ty Isaac. The Michigan defense just got right through the line. Big tackle for a loss. Not a good start for the Maize offense there.
Spade is going to get back under center. He's got Grant Perry out to the right. Ty Isaac still in the backfield. Takes the snap. Spade drops back, fakes the handoff. He's got time. He's looking right. He airs it out. He's got Grant Perry on the right. It looks like Perry caught the ball, but I think he's going to be ruled out of bounds. Almost a fantastic pitch and catch between Spate and Grant Perry out on the right. Can't quite tell who he beat in coverage there, but he had an edge by about a yard. Might have been Keith Washington. Unable to really tell. I believe it was Keith Washington, but Grant Perry was able to make an excellent route run out on the right-hand side, and a confident throw from Spate just tailed a little bit over that out-of-bounds line.
Yeah, good speed there from Grant Perry, and almost a fantastic throw from Spate, but just a little bit out of bounds. 3rd and
13, probably the last play of the first quarter here. Spate out of the gun, drops back, rolls right. He's looking for Perry again. He's got him out on the right-hand side and makes a catch on a little curl route. Taken down by Brandon Watson. Looks like Perry got just shy of the 45-yard line, or he's going to make it just over that 45-yard line. That will be the end of the first quarter. As we head to the second, only the blue team has really had offensive possession so far, and they hold a 7-0 lead. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football.
Yeah, on that last play there, good awareness by Grant Perry to get to that first down marker, run a nice little curl and get just enough to get the first down. Way to get to the sticks and catch the ball and make sure you got that first down.
This one really a difficult one to call with how many players switching in and out and all around us. These rosters were not released until quite recently. There was a draft-style team choice picking, I guess you could say. I don't even know the words for it.
Yeah.
A draft, I guess, most appropriately.
Like a fantasy draft.
Right, where Jed Fish and Don Brown were able to pick their teams, and the roster was kept pretty under wraps. We didn't know what it was, honestly, until we got here this evening and picked up 2 little pieces of paper, which it looks like were very hastily printed out with the rosters for the Maize and blue teams.
Yeah, it was not a very publicized thing. No one really knew until they got here to the stadium today what the teams were going to be, but it's pretty even so far. You know, they got, Wilton Spade on one team and John O'Corn and Shane Morris on the other team, so pretty even so far. We'll see if this Maize offense can answer here.
Blue leading Maize 7-0 here at the start of the second quarter. 8 minutes in the second quarter. It's going to be 1st and 10 with the ball on the 46-yard line for Wilton Spate and his Maize offense. It's going to take some time to talk with Jim Harbaugh. Harbaugh is dutifully standing behind all the offensive plays so far this evening.
Yeah, Harbaugh very involved in the offenses early. Wants to work with these young, inexperienced quarterbacks, make sure they can get the most out of these reps.
Ty Isaac will be back in the backfield again, and Wyatt Shulman, the 6'3", 245 fullback, being showcased on this Maize offense. Fullback going to be a bit of a question position where people are going to line up come fall time. Shulman getting a few snaps out here tonight. Looks like Grant Perry is still going to be in the game on this offense, lining up a little bit more on the inside over on that left-hand side. Definitely taking a lot of time before play gets underway here.
Nice.
Guessing because of commercial break. And we're about to get underway here in the second quarter. Spate under center, drops back, hands off to Ty Isaac, who pounds up the middle. He'll probably get 4 yards out of this one. Lost in a sea of bodies as he's shy of the 50-yard line.
Well, it certainly looks like this Maize offense is having a little more trouble running than the Blue offense did. A couple runs here early, not many yards. Interesting to note on that last play for the Maize team, on the far side, we saw freshman Amir Mitchell lining up, the 6'3 freshman from New Jersey, 6'3", 205. Interesting to see what he can do this spring.
Spate's going to be back under center. Spate drops back, pitches over to Grant Perry out on the left-hand side. He's trying to get some room, makes a cut, and he'll get around the 50-yard line out to about the 46. Tackle made by Brandon Watson. Watson's been pretty involved so far this evening, the 5'11 cornerback out of Wilmington, Delaware. Grant Perry really taking a key point in this Maize offense so far. What do you expect out of Grant Perry this coming season?
Well,
Alex?
he's someone that we saw play a little bit. We saw him get some catches in that Utah game. He's some guy who got a lot of playing time this year. It's time to see him take it to the next level this year, be more involved in this offense, get more catches, and he'll be big in that slot receiver position for the Wolverines.
Out of the gun, Spate takes a snap. It was low, able to handle it, gets Perry out on the right-hand side, makes a catch shy of the 40-yard line, and he'll be pushed out of bounds at about the 42. Coming over in coverage, Brandon Watson yet again.
Yeah, Grant Perry very involved here early, like you said. He's a guy that he's a smaller receiver, like I said, probably will play in that slot. He's different than Darbo and Chesson, who are the Wolverines' leading receivers. He's a little smaller, a little quicker. They'll throw him those little small intermediate routes like we saw early for the first down, but we saw he can also beat defensive backs deep.
1st and 10, ball on the 42-yard line, 6:18 left here in the second quarter. Spate under center, drops back, hands off to Ty Isaac. He's got a lot of room, breaks out on the right-hand side. He's got one man to beat. He gets the edge, finally pushed out of bounds by Jabril Peppers at the 19-yard line, or the 18-yard line. Big run there by Ty Isaac. He had himself a nice hole on the right-hand side, courtesy of that big offensive line.
Yeah, great run there by Ty Isaac. Huge hole. He hit the hole hard, good vision, running down the sideline, and that's the first big run we've seen from the Maize team here early.
That big gap, the offensive line holding up pretty well so far tonight. Spate hasn't seen a lot of pressure on that Maize side, had some time to throw. And it looks like we're gonna get ready. Here again, 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line. Spate again under center, drops back, fakes the handoff. He's looking left, he's got a wide open Jake Butt, and he heads out on the left-hand side. Nobody to beat, and Butt just trounces into the end zone. That'll be a nice 13-yard touchdown pass for Wilton Spate, and that'll tie this one up pending the extra point.
Yeah, that seemed like the defense made a couple mistakes there. It seemed like they got lost. Jake Butt, arguably the Maize team's most dangerous weapon on offense, was wide open coming across the middle. Easy throw for Spate and an easy touchdown for the Maize offense. Decided
to come back for his final season, did Jake Butt. And as you said, some of the best hands on the team showcased there. Found himself wide open on the left-hand side for the Maize team's first touchdown of the game. Kenny Allen in for the extra point. It's up, and it splits the uprights as this one gets tied up 7-all between Maize and Blue. 5:27 remaining in the second quarter. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football. Thank you again for tuning in.
Yeah, I like what I've seen here early out of these two quarterbacks. Wilton Spate settled in on that last drive, made a couple good throws, and then obviously John O'Corn with a beautiful pass early in the game to Grant Perry. Looks like we've got good quarterback competition here early.
Jim Harbaugh seems fairly impressed with what he just saw from the Maize team. Gave a nice congratulations to Wilton Spate on a well-run offensive drive. Again, between Spate and O'Corn so far tonight, both have led a touchdown drive. Who do you think looked better under the gun for the Wolverines?
Well, John O'Corn looked a little uncomfortable at first, but then we saw him make the great throw to Grant Perry. Wilton Spate looked a little more calm and composed, was hitting those short intermediate routes, looked more comfortable in the pocket. So even though O'Corn had that great throw, I think I'd give the edge here early to Spate, but it's very close. I mean, we can see this is still anyone's quarterback battle. I mean, neither of the quarterbacks, and it was only their first drive, but neither of them really stood out to me as the definite starter for this team.
Lining up for the kickoff, Drake Johnson is back to receive for the Blue team. Kenny Allen set for the kick. He's got it on the tee. Kicking team breaks to line up for the kickoff. Wind gently blowing, if at all. Allen boots it deep. Looks like Johnson's going to have some room to return. He takes it at about the 7-yard line. And again, no return on the kickoff as play is blown dead.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot here early, just blowing the kickoff dead once the kick returner receives the kick and runs about 10, 20 yards.
Again, tonight is a very light event. You don't want to see anybody go down to injury in such a not meaningless but relatively unimportant game, more for the fans than anybody else, I think.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, this is just for the fans to come out, get excited about the 2016 football season, and for these guys to kind of finish off spring practice with a game kind of atmosphere. Certainly, yeah, you don't want to see anyone get hurt. You want to see guys get their reps and get out with everyone healthy.
Coming back under center for the blue team is going to be Shane Morris, who threw the touchdown pass on the last drive. Hands off to the fullback. Might have been Bobby Henderson. I couldn't quite tell. It was Bobby Henderson, number 37, scooting across for a couple of yards there. 5 on the carry. Yeah. Just over 5 minutes remaining here in the second quarter.
Something we saw a lot from Michigan last year. We didn't see that during the Brady Hoke era. Jim Harbaugh loves the use of the big fullback. We saw there the fullback dive with the fake to the running back. That was something that Jim Harbaugh liked to use last year.
Morris back under center. He's got Davion Smith in the backfield, a switch up at running back. Drake Harris coming in motion. Hands off to Henderson again. Henderson fighting for yards as he gets close to the 40-yard line as he battled his way to probably 4 yards there on the carry.
Yeah, good effort there by Henderson. He was stopped at the line but kept the feet moving. Got an extra 2 or 3 yards out of that run. Garrett
Miller in on the tackle. Ball's going to be placed at the 39-yard line, I should say. Going to be 3rd and 1. 4:18 remaining here as the clock ticks down close to halftime. Morris under center again. He's got Johnson in the backfield, takes snap, hands off to Johnson. Johnson tried to bust out right, but that play gets blown up from the get-go. As he tried to bust out right, he had nowhere to go. Tyree Kinnell in on the tackle.
Yeah, looking like a lot like that Michigan defense last year. Really stout against the run. Nowhere to go for Drake Johnson. Just really good pressure there from the defense, and Drake Johnson, really not much you can do on that play.
Looks like Tyree Kinnell and Mike McCray both came in on the tackle. Maize team blew that one up defensively. Seeing some switch-ups here. Looks like it's going to be a punt. Andrew David back to take the snap. He's going to punt this one off over towards that left-hand side. Grant Perry there to receive, but nobody's going to get their hands on it. It bounces just shy of the 30-yard line and squirts out at about the 28. A quick 3-and-out offensive drive for that blue team as we head to just 3:23 left in the second quarter and another Maize team offensive drive coming up. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football.
Yeah, that was interesting on that last offensive drive we saw from the blue team. We saw a little bit of Davion Smith, who was the starter last year. We saw him come in for one play, but then come right out. Ty Isaac and Drake Johnson getting a majority of the reps. Ty Isaac for the Maize team and
Drake Johnson
for the blue team. So
Ty Isaac is back out there again with that Maize team, getting ready to line up in the backfield. Looks like we might see another quarterback again step into the gun for the Maize team. Can't quite tell who it is yet, but it doesn't appear to be Wilton Spate. Looks like stepping in under the gun. Is that
Malzahn?
Is that Malzahn? I believe it is. Dropping back. Gives the handoff to Isaac as he busts forward towards the 30-yard line.
That's Peters.
And it's Brandon Peters, actually, the freshman out of Indiana, Avon, Indiana. Again, very difficult to see the numbers if they don't turn towards you. And we have very limited roster kind of confidence as there's a lot of players coming in and out of this game. But again, it was Ty Isaac on the carry.
Yeah, Brandon Peters, the freshman quarterback, someone kind of a dark horse to compete for the starting job. He'll likely redshirt, but you never know with Jim Harbaugh.
Malzone back under center. Ty Isaac in the backfield. Pitch out to Ty Isaac as he tries to get left. Tried to scoot around, but nowhere to go.
Yeah, we saw early the offenses were able to shine on those first two drives, but on these last two drives for the Maize and the blue team, we've seen that the defenses are starting to shine, getting in that backfield, getting tackles for loss. Defense starting to shine here, which is what we saw last year.
And it wasn't Malzone in on that one, it was Peters. Again, I was getting the pronunciation for Malzone and mistakenly took him for Brandon Peters. Brandon Peters is the quarterback right now for the Maize team. In the gun, with Ty Isaac out to his left. Peters drops back, looking left, makes a confident throw out there, and that one's going to be broken up in coverage. A penalty flag coming out on that one. It was Amir Mitchell out on the left, the freshman out of Egg Harbor City, New Jersey. In on the coverage, Brandon Watson. Brandon Watson's been all over out there tonight. His first real trip up of the game will be a pass interference penalty. Good for 15 free yarders.
Brandon Peters looked like he tried to throw back shoulder there to Amir Mitchell. The pass interference, obviously, Amir Mitchell couldn't get to it, but Mitchell's a guy. He's a freshman out of New Jersey, out of Egg Harbor City, New Jersey. 6'3", 205, so he's definitely got some size out there. Definitely a guy who can go up and get the ball.
He's taking that prominent outside receiver role, has lined up left on almost every play for the Maize offense so far. Peters still in at quarterback in the gun. Peters going to drop back. Defense blitzing, able to get the throw off out left. Targeting Mitchell again, but that one flies incomplete. Mitchell got tied up in coverage with Watson yet again.
Yeah, Peters looks like he wants to get the ball out there to Mitchell, looking for him the past two plays. Looked like the same route there, but 2 times in a row, Peters just unable to connect with Mitchell.
1:57 remaining in the first half. Game's all knotted up at 7 between Maize and Blue. And the sun is finally going down behind us at Michigan Stadium with the lights on. Peters under center, offset eye. Drops back, hands off. Run up the middle. Kingston Davis in at running back that time. Gets it up the middle for maybe a yard or 2.
Yeah, Kingston Davis, another one of the freshmen enrolling early this spring. It's tough to see him getting a ton of playing time here this year with the depth that Michigan has at running back. But interesting to see him get some reps here early in the spring and kind of showcase what he can do.
Timeout called on the field. 30-second timeout as it's 3rd and 9 for the Maize team with 1:50 remaining in the first half. Ball's on the 43-yard line. On the defensive side of the 50-yard line. Crowd is really getting into this one for a spring game. They filled in fairly nicely for a beautiful Friday evening. Again, their first chance to see Team 137, the first football action in the Big House since that home season ended so not the way we wanted to back in November.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a Michigan team. There's been a lot of hype coming into this year. This is a team that's expected to be in the top 5 to start the season, so everyone in Ann Arbor is excited that the Wolverines are back in national championship contention.
Peters in the gun, takes a snap, drops back, he's looking center. Pass going to be broken up right under the middle. Debating whether or not Tyrone Wheatley had possession of that one before he popped the ball loose. Blue team looking like they were scrambling to recover a fumble, but it's called an incomplete pass. Wheatley almost had some strong hands to break through some coverage. Michael Warboleski in on the coverage.
Yeah, Wheatley, one of the big tight ends, another guy that many are keeping their eye on this year, the 6'6", 280-pound sophomore tight end, obviously the son of former Michigan running back and Michigan coach Tyrone Wheatley. Be interesting to see what he can do for the Wolverines this year.
Maize team's going to be back to punt now. Kenny Allen set for the punt. Takes a snap, hits it deep. Back to make the fair catch for the Wolverines, I believe, is Drake Harris. And he'll take that one at about the 10-yard line. 1:35 remaining in the second quarter. These 8-minute quarters, a little bit deceiving as it seems we're almost already to halftime. Game knotted up at 7 between Maize and Blue. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football, the 2016 spring game at the Big House. Beautiful crowd turnout for a beautiful Friday night here. The first chance to see Team 137 and the last football action you'll see in the Big House until the home opener against the University of Hawaii Rainbow Warriors on September 3rd.
Yeah, we'll see what Shane Morris coming in to play quarterback here. We'll see what he can do. Run the a minute 35 left, see what he can do in the 2-minute offense. See if he can drive the Wolverines down or the blue team down, get some points on the board and take the lead going into half.
Shane Morris is the quarterback. He lines up in the gun. He's got receivers out left and right. Makes a pass over in the left-hand flat. Completed, and a good catch over there by Joe Hewlett.
Yeah, good throw, good catch. Short yard situation. Looks like Michigan's going to start and run a little bit of the no huddle here.
Morris out of the gun, drops back now, looking to throw, comes over right, completed over to Drake Johnson right at about the first down marker. Or Drake Harris, not Drake Johnson, sorry. Just past the 20.
Shane Morris looking very comfortable here in this 2-minute offense, making a couple good short intermediate throws early.
Morris back under the gun again. He drops back. He's going to scramble up the middle. Nice hole, showing some legs. He gets out past the 35, close to the 40 before sliding down. Good legs by Shane Morris there to get some yards and turn nothing into something for these Wolverines. Ball's going to be spotted at the 37-yard line, it looks like, or the 38. It will be the 38, 1st and 10. 56 seconds left here in the first half. Looks like we're going to have a timeout on the field. Sitting down just shy of midfield is Kenny Sloss of the Maize team. Looks like he might be a little bit banged up. Seems to be sitting up on his hands. Doesn't look like he's really in a ton of pain, but the medical staff are out to take a look at him.
Yeah, not something you want to see during the spring game. They'll likely be cautious with any injuries today. You just want to, the biggest thing out of the spring game like this, you want to see everyone get out of here healthy. Like we said, this is more for the fans than for anything. This isn't an actual game. It really doesn't count for anything. So you just want guys to get out of here healthy and for the fans to go home happy.
Sloss, who is down on the field, 5'11", 170 cornerback, senior out of Monroe, Michigan. Looks like he's to his feet and walking back towards that Maize sideline with trainers beside him. Can't quite tell if he's limping maybe a little bit on the leg. It didn't look like anything in the arms hurt.
No.
He was sitting on his hands.
He seems to be walking off on his own weight pretty comfortably. Doesn't seem to be anything too serious.
And play is going to get back underway now as the coaches return to their sidelines with the exception of Jim Harbaugh behind the offense again. Shane Morris going to line up in the shotgun. Looks like he's got Drake Johnson over to his left. Morris takes the snap, drops back, looking left. Makes a throw, short, caught, carried just past the 45-yard line. Give us 1 sec to see who made that catch. It was a little bit caught up in the middle of things.
Looked like Joe Hewlett.
It was Joe Hewlett again. Hewlett, the 6', 195 running back out of Novi, relatively unknown name prior to today. Morris out of the gun, play moving quickly now as he drops back, looking center. Tried to make a throw out over the middle. Looks like there's going to be a pass interference penalty on DeMonte Thomas. He was targeting Ian Bunting, but Thomas on coverage looked like he had a little bit too many hands on him.
Yeah, Ian Bunting's a guy we saw get a little playing time last year. He was in the tight end rotation, so Michigan, their tight end group's very deep. You know, they got Jake Butt, Ian Bunting, and Tyrone Wheatley, so that's a very deep group. Should see all those guys get lots of playing time this year.
That'll be a 10-yard penalty and an automatic first down for the blue team. 30 seconds left here in the first half, as this one is knotted up. Team Maize and Team Blue tied at 7-all. WCBN sports coverage of Michigan football is what you're listening to. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line. Looking towards the end zone is this blue team. Morris is in the shotgun. Jabril Peppers, or Kareem Walker out to the left, can't tell. Dropping back, Morris. Looking, has time, throws out right. Had a wide open receiver out on the right-hand side, but simply overthrew him. I think it was Jack Wangler. Got himself open out on the right-hand side. He had a good 2-3 yard step on his defender, but overthrown by Morris. Would have been a touchdown had that one gotten into his hands.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what we've seen with Shane Morris. He's got the big arm, but he lacked a little bit of the accuracy, and that's why a lot of people think that the quarterback competition is more between Wilton Speight and O'Korn than between them two and Shane Morris. But Shane Morris has made a couple good throws here early, so can't count him out of that quarterback race, but definitely a little mistake there from Shane Morris.
Shane Morris lining up in the gun yet again. He's got Kareem Walker out to his left. Drops back, looking to throw left. Had a wide open receiver again, but missed through, and it went high over the head of Joe Hewlett. Took some contact on the play. Louis Goodman came in.
Morris looking a little frustrated there down in the field after that last overthrow, and then thrown it over the head of Hewlett there on just a short 5-yard out pass. So Morris starting to look a little uncomfortable, a little frustrated.
It looks like TV coverage of the spring game on BTN has switched over to gymnastics. So if you're just tuning in with us, thank you for listening to WCBN Sports coverage. 20 seconds left here in the first half. Game tied up at 7 between Maize and Blue. Morris takes the snap out of the gun. Looking left, he's got Drake Harris. Harris tied up in coverage with Jeremy Clark. Clark did a good job to wrap up Harris and avoid the pass interference as that one flies incomplete.
Yeah, that was just good coverage there from Jeremy Clark, guy who started last year at safety. Drake Harris, not much he could do there. Good coverage, good defense there from the Maize team.
Clark got that left hand in on Harris, but was still making a play on the ball with the right. And that one goes incomplete. Morris hasn't looked his most confident in some of these passes so far this half. A couple overthrows, couple miscues. Has not looked at peak performance. Morris is going to line up in the gun. He's got Kareem Walker to his left. Morris drops back. Defense rushing him. He works out of the pocket. He's got time. Throws right, looking deep into the end zone, as I believe that one's going to fall incomplete, or it's intercepted. I couldn't quite tell if he made the catch, and also can't tell who was in coverage. Give us a second to sort it out. I think it was DeMonte Thomas, and I think he did actually pick that ball off in the end zone. Morris threw into double coverage. He was trying to target Wangler on the right-hand side. But yeah, nice play by DeMonte Thomas as he intercepts that one in the back right corner of the end zone.
Yeah, great play there from DeMonte Thomas coming over and making a play on that ball. It didn't really look. It looked like it was either going to go out of bounds or just kind of hit off the hands of the Michigan receiver. But just great coverage there from DeMonte Thomas.
And it looks like with just 6 seconds left in the first half, Wilton Spade is going to take a knee and send these teams to halftime, and he does just that as that clock ticks down 2 seconds, 1 second, and the whistles blow for halftime. We're going to head into the half with this one tied up 7-all between Team Maize and Team Blue. We'll be back with second half coverage shortly. Thank you again for tuning in to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
Hello and welcome back to WCBN FM Ann Arbor's live broadcast of Michigan football. The spring game today. I'm Morris Fabry, in for the second half, substituting for Jeremy Parks, your initial play-by-play man. Alongside me still, the man himself, Alec Geese. Today, we're coming at you live from the Big House. Obviously, we're tied at 7, Maize and Blue at halftime, and we saw some interesting things out there on the field in the first half. Maybe the most interesting was quarterback Shane Morris, who, when he came to the university, was valued as a future starter under center. Lined up at wide receiver a few times, lined up under center a few times, to be fair, but the Wolverines employed some trickeration. He threw his only touchdown of the day from that wideout spot after receiving a pass from his teammate John O'Corn. Alec, is this something that you would imagine can be sustained in actual competition?
Well, I was very surprised to see this in the first half. I mean, Shane Morris came in, he was athletic, but not a guy yet you think can, play wide out at the Division I level, and especially in the Big Ten. But they were lining him up out there. They threw a pass to him, and then they also threw the bubble pass to him for the touchdown. So I don't know if they can sustain this for the whole season. I don't know if this is something that Jim Harbaugh's just trying out in spring to see if it could work, or if he's just thrown it in there to confuse people because that's something Harbaugh would do. So it's very interesting to see that here early. It was certainly the most interesting storyline in that first half.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh, in the offseason, he is an entertainer. He is out to get attention first and foremost, and he has gotten a lot of positive attention for the university. One thing that the Wolverines did during the halftime, introduced every member of the class of 2016 recruiting class on the field, introduced last and to the loudest ovation here at the Big House, defensive lineman Rashawn Gary. What do you think of that display?
Well, I think it's great for recruiting for the future. I mean, there's a lot of guys here who are prospects that Jim Harbaugh is trying to recruit right now and that are watching this. And when they see that and the ovation that those guys coming in from the 2016 class are getting, that's something that, recruits, they want attention, they want to feel recognized and feel valued at the university, and that just shows that how much these fans, love this team and love these new players coming in. So I think it's great that Jim Harbaugh is doing that. He's certainly changing the culture here around Michigan football, and I just think it's great for the program.
Yeah, I think deep down we all want to be valued and be recognized, so not many better places to do so than the Big House here in this spring game. A lot of players, as they came out to what I assume were personally chosen kind of walkout songs, we're dabbing. Have we reached a saturation point in society with the dab?
Oh, actually, I think it's at its peak. It's got to be at its peak right now. I mean, like you said, all you have to do, one of these guys, all they have to do to get a huge roar from the crowd is hit one dab, and then the crowd goes nuts. So I think it's at its peak. It's going to die down, I think, by the fall when the 2016 season comes here. But certainly right now, the dab is as popular as it's ever been.
I think once people realize that all you have to do to get everybody to love you is do a dab, everybody is going to start to, not just everybody who's doing it now, but everybody is going to start dabbing, and then it's going to die.
I mean, come on, Morris. I know you've hit the dab before.
Not really.
I know it's happened at least one time. I know I have. I'm not afraid to admit it.
I haven't been in enough situations where I have that kind of attention on me. Anyway, speaking of attention, we're gonna return ours back to the field of play where the blue team is about to be kicking off to the Maize team. The blue team going from left to right in front of us. The ball on that right hash mark at the 35-yard line. Looks like Andrew David about ready to tee off for the blue team. David and Kenny Allen both with one punt in the first half. Were you able to glean who's going to be starting at punter for the Wolverines in the oncoming season from that display?
I mean, it's hard with a couple punts to tell who's going to be the punter, but Kenny Allen's got experience. Wasn't the punter last year, but has punted before, so he's got to be the front runner. But anything can happen come summer camp time.
All right, we're almost ready to go. Damonte Thomas back to return for the Maize team. Andrew David boots it high. It's going to land about the 10-yard line, received by Thomas. He heads forward, and the play will be blown dead, as it has been done on every kickoff return in the past. The ball will be placed out at about the 25-yard line, and the Maize team will get underway. Still a pretty good crowd here at the Big House, probably roughly 50,000, 40,000 fans remaining. If you ask Dave Brandon, it's Still 100,000 strong out there, but the crowd has waned since kickoff.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think a lot of people just came here, wanted to see the first team guys get their reps, and now as the temperature dies down, maybe heading back home, but certainly a good crowd still here to see this Maize versus Blue game.
Wilton Spade under center for the Wolverines. In the backfield is Ty Isaac. He turns, fakes the pitch to Isaac, now rolls to his right, dumps it off to Khalid Hill. A one-handed catch running across the formation toward the right side. Wrapped up between the numbers and the hash marks on the right side about the 36-yard line. A 6-yard gain sets up 2nd down and 4.
Yeah, smart play there. Just go with the short throw. Don't try and do too much. Throw it downfield. Gain a couple yards and play 2nd down and 4.
Looked like on the tackle there was Devin Bush for the Wolverines, a freshman who may make an impact at the linebacking position. Spate lined up under center on the right side. Isaac in the backfield. Khalid Hill, the fullback, to his right. Turns, gives to Isaac, running right. Tries to bounce it outside, but he's wrapped up and spun down to the ground after a gain of about 2. It'll be 3rd and short for the Wolverines Maize team.
Haven't seen a lot from Isaac besides the big run that went for 30 or 40 yards. This Blue defense has done a good job getting pressure on that run and stopping Isaac, not letting him get any more big runs.
Spate will line up under center, the I formation behind him. It's Hill directly behind him and Isaac the deep back. Spate turns, gives right to Hill, plunges forward into the line. The linesman running out right at the 40-yard line. I think he got that 1st down, and a pretty predictable play right there. Harbaugh loves going to his fullbacks in short yardage situations.
Yeah, something we learned in Harbaugh's first year. He loves the fullback, not even in just short yardage situations, but on 1st and 10. He loves the fullback dive, so that's something I think we're going to continue to see a lot of this year.
The chains do move. It is a 1st down. The interior linemen on that Blue team right now, Brian Monet and Matthew Godin. Whistles blowing right now. I think a timeout called or an illegal substitution called on the offense. It is a spring game for the Wolverines, and they're still ironing out those kinds of wrinkles, I guess.
And I love to see Harbaugh down there. He sees the flag thrown, and you can just see it in his body language. It's only the spring game, but he's still frustrated that it's that's happening, that they're getting substitution penalties like that. So gotta love to see that from Jim Harbaugh. We've come to love and expect it from him, but always exciting to see.
Would it really shock anyone if he got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty at some point during this spring
Not
game?
at all.
I formation, Spate still under center, turns, gives, running to the left side and wrapped up along the left tackle for the Wolverines is number 23, Kingston Davis, trying to bounce that one outside. And on the tackle was Carlo Kemp. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and 14 for the Wolverines. 5:47 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, Carlo Kemp, another one of those freshmen coming in and enrolling early for spring camp, a guy that could compete at defensive end or linebacker. 4-star recruit, could make an impact on this defense.
Spate now operating out of the gun, 3 receivers to his right. In a trips formation, Kingston Davis also to his right in the backfield. Spate takes the snap, drops back, looking down the middle, now stepping up in the pocket, scrambling out to his left. He's got some room, and he will scamper out of bounds at about the 48-yard line. A.J. Pearson was in the area and forced him out of bounds just shy of that 1st down line. Good yardage, though, good little pickup. And the Wolverines' Maize team faces 3rd and 2.
Yeah, that's something a lot of people said Spate was the most unathletic quarterback of the bunch, but he showed there that he does have that athleticism to move out of the pocket and get yards if he needs to.
Michael Robluski a little late closing the hole, and Spate was able to get free. 3rd down and short. Spate lines up under center, I formation behind him. Turns and gives. It's Ty Isaac bouncing it to the outside on the right side, and he's got some room. Isaac to the 35-30, 25 stiff arm out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Good long run, forced out of bounds by A.J. Pearson. And Isaac has been trying to bounce a lot of runs outside. That time he had the burst and got his edge. A big gain for the Wolverines and a 1st down inside the red zone.
Yeah, certainly. That's Ty Isaac's 2nd big run of the night. He's a guy that got a lot of playing time early last year, but then fought injuries late in the season. He could have a big impact on this offense this year and certainly could compete for that starting job and take it from Davion Smith.
Spate back under center. Hill and Isaac behind him. 2 wide receivers, 1 on either side of him. Takes the snap, turns, gives to Isaac. Isaac running right, runs into a bit of traffic, and he is wrapped up brought down in the backfield. In on that play, I believe, was Devin Bush yet again. He's made a couple plays around the ball here in the third quarter. 3:57 to go in the third. Second down and 12 from the 22-yard line. The Wolverines Maize team deadlocked at 7, looking to take a lead.
Yeah, like I said, Devin Bush, one of those guys who could come in and compete for the linebacker spot. Of all the freshmen, he might have the biggest chance to get a lot of playing time this year and make an impact as a starter.
Spate back under center, I formation behind him, takes the snap, turns, gives to Isaac running left, cuts it back to the right, and he's wrapped up in the backfield, brought down by Keith Washington. Washington the first in on the play. The offensive line now generating a lot of running room here, close in toward the end zone, and with third and long, Michigan probably forced to pass.
Yeah, will be good to see here, see what Wilton Spate can do, see if Harbaugh wants to open it up a little bit. It's 3rd and 10. Obviously a passing situation. Let's see if they'll open it up and let Wilton Spate throw something downfield here towards the end zone.
Ball just inside the right hash. Spate out of the gun. Kingston Davis to his right. Spate takes the snap, looking left, drops back, under pressure, throws, and he has him, and it's Tyrone Wheatley out across the 11-yard line. And that is going to be a first down for the Wolverines. Good job by Spate enduring the pressure and hitting Wheatley across the formation. It was A.J. Pearson who finally wrapped up the 280-plus pound tight end for the Wolverines.
Yeah, Tyrone Wheatley Jr. is certainly someone we could see a lot of come fall. He's big. He's a tough matchup. He's 6'6". He's 280. And he's athletic, so that's a tough matchup for obviously any safety or corner, and he's probably can outrun most linebackers, so look to see him a lot come this fall.
Now, I thought he got the first down. Turns out he didn't. It will be 4th and 1, 4th and less than 1. Spate lines up under the I formation, turns, gives to Kingston Davis, plunges forward, gets the first down and a few more yards out across the middle, and across the 7-yard line, Michigan, the Maize team, threatening to score. Brian Monet in on the tackle.
Yeah, Kingston Davis getting some reps here early. That's a guy, another one of the freshmen enrolling early, but that's a guy that a lot of people think wouldn't get a ton of playing time this year, but he's getting a lot of reps here in the spring game, so something to keep an eye on come fall camp time.
Spate lining up under center. Amir Mitchell out wide to his left. Turns, fakes the give, rolling out to his left. Spate heading toward the end zone, and he will walk in. An easy touchdown on the run for Wilton Spate. Good blocking out there by Amir Mitchell on the edge. It was Reuben Jones split out wide trying to chase down Spate, but to no avail. The play action had the blue team fooled, and the Maize team takes a 13-7 lead.
Yeah, nothing spectacular on that drive, just a lot of good plays, the good run, the long run by Ty Isaac, but nothing spectacular from Spate, just short intermediate throws and finishing it off with a nice little rollout on the play action and run there.
On for the extra point is Ryan Tice. The snap is down, the kick is up, and the kick splits the uprights. The Maize team takes a 14-7 lead with 1 minute and 40 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Just a reminder, you are listening to WCBN FM Ann Arbor's coverage of the spring game.
Yeah, we've really seen a good balance of offense and defense here in this spring game. We've seen the defense make some plays, make some tackles for loss, get a couple sacks, but then we've also seen the offense have some big plays and go on scoring drives. So a good balance here so far. Hard to take a lot away from it and determine, who the better unit is, but good competition here so far.
I think there's something to be said for the way the offensive line did work in that, because this Michigan defensive line is so deep. You would expect that, especially because of the nature of these teams, the lines are mixed up between first, second, and even third team. With defensive line as such a strength, any positives for the run game have got to reflect on some progress in the offseason.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, this defensive line, they lost Willie Henry and Ryan Glasgow, but, Chris Wormley's back. Taco Charlton's back. Brian Monet. There's guys who saw a lot of playing time last year, and then Rashawn Gary's coming in later in fall. This defensive line unit might be one of the best in the country. So to see any, like you said, to see any positives out of the run game and out of the offensive line, Jim Harbaugh's got to be happy with that.
Yeah, especially after last year. That spring game was just a heaping pile of trash compared to this. Ryan Tice boots it deep, an end-over-end kick. Falls at about the 10-yard line, caught there by Drake Johnson, jogs forward in the play. Obviously blown dead, don't want any injuries on the kickoffs. Kenneth Sloss, the only player to go down so far with an injury, a ding in this game. We don't know exactly what happened to him, but we hope it's nothing serious.
Yeah, without a doubt. You just want, like we've said earlier, you don't want anyone to get too hurt, too banged up for the spring game. It's for the fans. It's for the players to just get a couple reps, more like a practice for them. So you hate to see a guy get hurt, but we hope he's okay, and that's just a few bumps and bruises.
The blue team back out on offense, and Alex Malzone will be seeing his first reps today at the quarterback position. He lines up under center. Kareem Walker in the backfield behind him. Tight end Michael Josh across the formation to the right. Malzone takes the snap, drops back, looks to throw, and has a man open. It is Ian Bunting. Bunting wide open in open space down the right sideline across the 30, and finally brought down at the 22-yard line. Ian Bunting across the formation and against the flow of the defense. Tons of open field, finally dragged down by Jeremy Clark, but a huge gain to start this drive for the blue team.
Yeah, it looked like a defensive miscommunication there. Ian Bunting coming across the middle, wide open, easy pass from Malzahn, and Ian Bunting just ran down the sideline for a huge gain.
And it was just a typical pick play across the defense, playing man-to-man. They couldn't keep up with Ian Bunting, showing a lot of speed for his size. Malzone back under center, ball on the right hash marks. Josh across the formation, Henry Poggi in the backfield along with Walker. Malzone turns, gives to Walker, running right, has a hold, bounces off tackle, bounces off of a tackle, and finally forced out of bounds. Kareem Walker keeping his feet and trucking through the defense out across the 15-yard line. Out there on defense, on the edge was Mike McCray along with Lawrence Marshall.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen Kareem Walker run it today in this spring game, and you can just see the power. He puts his shoulder down, trucks the defender, and keeps his feet moving until they push him out of bounds. A lot to look forward to seeing this guy run in the fall.
And you never want to see a defender get trucked, but the defender who did get trucked on the play was Kenneth Sloss, the man who went down with a little bump earlier in the game, so good to see him back in action. Second down and 4. Malzone lines up under center, takes the snap, turns, gives to Walker, running right through a hole, plunges forward, wrapped up at his ankles, got about 2 yards, and the Wolverines will face 3rd and 1 as the time ticks down. 8 seconds left in the third quarter. Looks like we're going to head into the fourth after that play. Time does run out, and we head into the fourth with the Maize team leading the blue team 14-7 here at the Big House in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Blue team driving down the field. Are there any performers who have caught your eye on the defensive end? On both sides, it seems to have been slow, balanced, methodical football, Alec. But certainly there have to be some positives to be gleaned out of this.
Yeah, without a doubt. Brandon Watson playing nice. And then we saw Devin Bush Jr. come in and make some plays at linebacker, someone we look forward to seeing. The defensive front has looked good against the run game. Like we said, that's a very deep spot. So, yeah.
Now, what have you seen out of the quarterback picture today, Alec? This is one of the quarterback and the linebacking position, probably the two most interesting position battles. And at this point, we've seen everybody for the Wolverines, only a tiny bit of Alex Malzone and Brandon Peters. But what have you seen so far?
Well, first of all, this is a very deep group. I mean, there's been 5 guys who've gotten reps today during the spring game. I think Spade has looked the most calm and composed out of the group. There's been nothing big out of Spade. We haven't seen as many of the big plays on his drives, but he's looked the most calm and collected and been able to make most of those throws. And then John O'Corn obviously had the big play to Drake Harris. He's looked good too. Shane Morris had a good couple throws when they were running the 2-minute drill at the end of that first half, but he looked a little uncomfortable, made a couple overthrows at the end of that half. So those 3 are the guys who people think are the main competitors. So I think Wilton Spate has looked the best out of all 3 of those guys, and he's certainly the one who's gotten the most reps today for what that means, but anything can happen come fall time.
Spate 5 for 6 passing on today's game for 46 yards and a touchdown. Also 2 rushes for 19 yards and a touchdown. The leader in the clubhouse running the ball so far, by far, Ty Isaac, 8 carries for 61 yards, including that 30-yard burst he had during the Maize team's last touchdown drive. Is it safe to say that Isaac is seizing control of this running back position from what you've seen?
Well, I mean, he's certainly looked the best today, and he's of all the running backs. I think he's looked better than Drake Johnson too, but we haven't seen a lot of Davion Smith, which is surprising. He was the starter last year, certainly saw the most reps, was the leading rusher. So I'm not sure why he's not playing, but it'll be interesting to see him, Isaac, and Drake Johnson compete for that starting job come fall time.
Malzone back under center. I formation behind him, and Poggi and Walker fakes the give to Walker. Now looking to throw Malzone. Short throw, has a man, it's caught. Diving and falling to the ground is Ian Bunting out across the 10-yard line at the numbers on the right side. And now after the play, a flag flies in. A couple players fraternizing around the 10-yard line. Not sure what this flag is going to be for. We're still awaiting the call from the referees.
Jim Harbaugh down there with his hands on his hips.
And it will be unsportsmanlike conduct on Big Mo Hurst of the Maize team. Getting into it with his teammates after the play. And it's always good to see that kind of heated competition among teammates. You never want to see it get anywhere personal, but these are guys fighting for starting jobs, fighting for playing time, and eventually fighting for their legacies at this university in the long run. Malzone back under center. Walker in the backfield from the 5-yard line. Takes the snap, drops back, looking to throw over the middle. Tries to find Josh, but it is through his hands and out of the back of the end zone. Alex Kaminsky in on the coverage for the Maize team. That ball came in hot out of Malzone's hands.
Yeah, for sure. Malzone showing off his arm strength there, dropping back and firing a bullet in there and just going off the hands of the receiver. Didn't look like he could really bring it in, just hit off his fingertips and in the back of the end zone. Second
down and goal from the 5. Malzone out of the I formation, turns, gives to Walker, makes a cut up the middle, and he is wrapped up and dragged down for a loss in the backfield. It was Chase Winovich in there on the tackle for the Maize team, and Walker really had nowhere to go. A run blitz from the Maize team, and just ate that play up alive.
Yeah, nowhere to go there, but you can already see early just from these first couple runs from Kareem Walker, he's impossible to bring down on first contact. You're just going to take a gang to tackle him. It's going to take multiple guys to wrap him up and bring him down, so that should be interesting to see come time for the start of the season.
Third and goal from the 6-yard line. Malzone under pressure, or under center. 2 running backs behind him. Turns, rolls out to his left, looking toward the end zone, now looking to run, throws at the last minute, and it's broken up in the back of the end zone. Out there on the defensive end, Tyree Cannell knocking away the pass headed for Jack Wangler. And a flag out there on the field perhaps. Looks like it will, there will be no flag, and it will be 4th down and goal from the 6-yard line. 6:47 to go here in the 4th quarter. Kaminsky got a good push on Malzone as he delivered that ball at the end of the play.
Yeah, Malzone had a couple chances here in the red zone, but just can't seem to finish and complete a pass in the end zone, just running out of space a little.
Timeout called on the field, presumably by the Maize team, coached by Don Brown. And 4th down and 6, the field gets shorter, and it's just harder to find those kinds of passing lanes here with 6:47 to go in the 4th quarter. This could be the game for the blue team if they don't convert here.
Yeah, without a doubt, especially with, like we said, with the short quarters. If the blue team doesn't score here, it's going to be 6 minutes. That white team will likely be able to run out most of that clock, and would be interesting to see the blue team get the ball back if they don't score here and try to put together a drive to tie the game up. But yeah, you got to be thinking that this is a must-score situation if the blue team wants to tie this thing up.
Now, we haven't seen any of Amara Darbo or J.U. Chesson in today's game, but has there been anybody on the receiving core who's impressed you maybe more than you would have expected coming into this game?
Yeah, Grant Perry. I mean, this is a guy, we saw him play a little bit last year, but not a ton. And Grant Perry, we saw in those first couple drives, had a lot of completions, was beating guys deep, a lot of speed, a lot of quickness. So he's a guy who I think could have a big impact on this offense and could join Chesson and Darbo in that receiving core of guys who get a lot of playing time.
Malzone out of the gun, takes the snap, looking to his left. Now steps up in the pocket, running for it, and he's got nowhere to go. He's wrapped up at about the 4-yard line. dragged down. Initially on the contact there was Chase Winovich, and that will bring a dismal end to a pretty impressive blue team drive.
Yeah, Malzahn with the big pass to Ian Bunting to start off the drive. Couldn't finish it off in the red zone, but good-looking drive there from Malzahn. A lot of good things to take away from it. That Michigan defense just looked good in the red zone. Looked a lot like what we saw last year out of that defense.
It'll be the Maize team backed up in their own area. The blue team trying to force a 3-and-out. 6:41 to go here in the fourth quarter. The Maize team leading by 7. It is Brandon Peters under center for the Maize team. 2 men in the backfield behind him. Turns, gives. It's Ty Isaac running right, gets through a hole, trying to shake off a tackler, but he is dragged down in the backfield. It is Jack Dunaway breaking through and wrapping up Ty Isaac before he hit the seam for what would have been a pretty big gain.
Yeah, this has really been Ty Isaac's, the Maize team. It's been his carries. Not a lot of other running backs rotating in to that Maize team. It's pretty much when the Maize team's running, it's been all Ty Isaac, where we've seen a few more backs rotate in on the blue team.
Isaac still in the backfield. Peters still under center. Khalid Hill out to his right in the backfield. A couple receivers on either side. Peters, hard count, almost drew the blue team offside. Now takes the snap, fakes the give. Met in the end zone, dodges a would-be tackler, escapes out to the left, looking to throw, and just throws it away. The first man in the backfield appeared to be Matt Godin, hands on his head, wondering how Brandon Peters was able to shake him and avoid the safety. He had a free line to the QB there. Brian Monet eventually on the pressure that forced the throwaway.
Yeah, that was a big blitz there from the blue defense, something Don Brown's going to be doing a lot of this year. He's going to be dialing up a lot of blitzes. It's what he's known for, and we saw there almost forcing the safety.
Jordan Glasgow also in on the pressure. No receivers out wide for Brandon Peters, and that also, crucially, stops the clock with 5:49 to go here in the fourth quarter. It'll be 3rd and 7 for the Maize team from their own 6-yard line. Peters lines up in the I formation. Hill and Isaac behind him, turns, takes, gives to Isaac. Isaac bounces it out to the right side. He's got a seam. He's out across the 15, across the 18, wrapped up and pushed out of bounds there by Michael Roblewski, but a first down picked up there by Ty Isaac, who has shown an ability to burst toward the outside and get around this defense, which has lost contain on a number of occasions.
Yeah, that's been this Maize team's bread and butter today, just Ty Isaac to the outside. He's had good vision, been able to break big runs to the outside and run down that sideline for big games. That's his 3rd big run of the night. Blue team really has had no answer so far for Ty Isaac.
And give credit to the guys on the right side of the line, Nolan Ulizio and Ty Wheatley, for creating that seam too for Ty Isaac, crushing that end of the line. Peters takes the snap, turns, fakes the give to Isaac. Peters looking down the field, got a man open, complete across the 35-yard line on the left side between the numbers and the hash marks. And that is Zach Gentry, converted quarterback into wide receiver, making the catch for another 18-yard gain and a first down for the Wolverines, dragged down there by Brandon Watson.
Yeah, Zach Gentry recruited out of Albuquerque, New Mexico as a quarterback, but the 6'7", 244-pound sophomore has great size, and so they moved him to tight end, and he's someone that they've really been working on, has made a lot of improvements at the position this spring.
Now Brandon Peters under center. Shulman in the backfield along with a man I believe to be Davis. Looking to throw, rolls to his right, does throw across his body, and it's caught out across the 50-yard line. Grant Perry, there goes that man again. Watson on the coverage, but a 12-yard pickup and a first down for the Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah, Grant Perry, without a doubt, the most impressive receiver on all of Michigan today, making catches for big gains.
And now this Maize team driving, 4 minutes and 17 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. The blue team needs a stop and the ball back. Maybe a turnover would suffice, but this Maize team driving the ball well. Peters back under center, Davis and Shulman in the backfield. Shulman split out to the right. Peters turns, gives to Davis, and he is met instantly in the backfield. Good penetration there from Brian Monet. Brings him down just at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a 1-yard loss on the play. 2nd down and 11 for the Maize team. The blue team has all 3 of their timeouts remaining. And they have been given 13 points on the scoreboard. 6 extra for some reason, maybe to boost the competition here. Not sure how that's working. Anyway, Peters back under center. Gives to Grant Perry, streaking across the formation, makes a little hesitation on the outside, trying to get the edge, but he is shoved out of bounds by Devin Bush in hot pursuit. A slew of tacklers out there, and Kenneth Sloss also forced him to that edge and wrapped him up out of bounds.
Yeah, Grant Perry trying to use that speed and quickness to get to the outside, but good contain there from the Blue defense to not let him get upfield and get a tackle for a loss.
So it'll be 3rd down and about 15 for the Maize team. The Blue team letting the clock tick despite having 3 timeouts. And those 6 points they were given have been revoked from the scoreboard. Not sure what went on there. Peters out of the gun. Isaac to his right. Wheatley, the tight end, split to the right. Peters takes the snap, rolls to his right, now throws it back toward the left side. Caught by Isaac. Little stutter step, cuts it to his right, back to his left. Out back to the original line of scrimmage, but not much there. Conservative defense and Carlo Kemp shaken by the Isaac move, but eventually he was wrapped up. Gain of 5, and the Maize team going to be forced to punt.
Yeah, nice little cut there from Ty Isaac. Get much after that, but nice little cut to get a couple more yards when it seemed like he was going to get nothing.
The shake and the bake.
The crowd oohing and on.
Not a ton there, though. Defense understandably swarming to the ball. There haven't been many big breaks in coverage. There have been a couple guys beaten deep in single coverage today for the Michigan Wolverines, but outside of perhaps the bunting pick play, any breakdowns have just been due to the speed of the offense. 4th down and 11 for the Maize team. The Blue team burned their timeout. Updating you on softball, the Michigan softball team beating the Indiana Hoosiers 9-3 in the bottom of the 5th inning. While we're not calling those games in Indiana, we at WCBN are always tuned in to Michigan softball. So the Maize team ready to punt. Back to receive for the Blue team is Drake Harris. Back deep to kick for the Wolverines is Kenny Allen. It's a high spiraling punt received by Drake Harris at the 15-yard line on the right side of the field, and that is where the Blue team will start their drive to try and tie the game. 2:26 to go here in the 4th quarter. The Blue team with 2 timeouts and 85 yards to go to tie this game up.
Yeah, and Jim Harbaugh looks like he's going to throw John O'Corn into there, give him a chance to get some experience in the end of the game situation. Need to go down in the 2-minute drill and score some points. Good experience for the young quarterback. It's a big drive for hit the quarterback competition for this Michigan team.
O'Corn, it has been reported that he does struggle on the little intermediate passes, but as far as a guy you might want throwing the ball down the field deep, maybe no one better on this roster.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Spate better at the intermediate throws, but O'Corn definitely with the ability to throw the deep ball and make big plays.
O'Corn under center, Poggi and Walker in the backfield. O'Corn back to throw, throws it deep down the right side, back shoulder throw, adjusted to and caught. It is Jack Wangler over on the right side of the field. Out in coverage was Kenneth Sloss, but he could not keep up. Great adjustment to the ball from Wangler. O'Corn just kind of floated it out there for him.
And that's what we've seen from O'Corn today. That's his 2nd back shoulder throw that he's completed, looking real good.
Offense in the hurry up. O'Corn turns, gives to Walker, meets a pile of blockers on the right side, and trips and falls in the backfield. In there on the pressure, Diamante Thomas crashing down hard from his safety position. 2nd down and 11. The clock continues to tick. Shane Morris checks into the game for the Wolverines. We saw him back in that first half. Maybe he'll take a role here in the second half. Morris in the slot on the left side. O'Corn operating out of the gun. Takes the snap. Drops back to pass. Steps up, looking to scramble up the middle, cutting toward the right side. Gets a block from Morris, and he's out across the 50-yard line to the 49. The chains move. It's a 1st down for O'Corn. Mike McRae in on the tackle.
Yeah, O'Corn certainly hasn't been afraid to use his speed today. We've seen him many times, just when he has that hole at the middle, take the 10 yards and get the 1st down.
O'Corn out of the gun. The Blue offense in the hurry up. Back to pass. Steps up, rolling to his left. Looking downfield still, lofts it up down the left sideline. He's got Wangler, and Wangler dropped the ball. A good touch pass over Kenneth Sloss. A good read, too, by Wangler to break down the sideline when he saw Sloss's eyes in the backfield. but Wangler unable to haul that one in.
Yeah, John O'Corn showing his athleticism there on the run, just trying to loft one in to Wangler and just unable to haul it in, but a pretty nice throw given the circumstances. Tough break there for the Wolverines.
Could have been an easier catch and could have been a better adjustment. A minute 19 to go here in the fourth quarter. 2nd down and 10 for the Blue offense just across the 50-yard line. O'Corn in the shotgun, standing on the right hash marks. Drake Harris split out wide to his right. He takes the snap, looks to throw, steps up instantly. Now waggles back out to his left, looking for a throw. Now runs forward, falls forward into the legs of Shane Morris. Gets about 7 yards on the play. Timeout called by the blue team. That is their second charge timeout. 1:08 left. They're facing 3rd and 2 at about the 41-yard line here.
Yeah, O'Corn, he's been pretty quick to run in this game. He hasn't been very comfortable sitting back in the pocket, so you'd like to see him sit back in the pocket a little more and make throws downfield, but it's hard to criticize him when he's taking the yards, taking 8 to 10 yards, and doing as much as he can to try and get this offense down to score and tie this game up.
Now, we've talked a lot about Grant Perry and his productions for the Maize team, but who are going to be the go-to receivers right now, do you think, for the blue team heading down the field?
Well, Drake Harris, we saw earlier O'Corn at the beginning on that first drive. O'Corn had the beautiful pass to Drake Harris, so he's got to be their go-to receiver, you'd think, in this situation.
Yeah, you know, a lot of these guys, I'd say we're probably not going to see a lot of Jack Wangler or Joe Hewlett down the stretch in the season, but these guys are getting a chance to play in the big house in front of a pretty sizable crowd, in front of the students and the fans who care about them the most.
Yeah, without a doubt, it's a great experience, and even if they don't play this year, you know, down the road, this experience is good, and it's a great atmosphere for them to come in and get some playing time.
O'Corn operating out of the gun. 3rd down and 2. Harris split wide to his right, motions toward the middle. O'Corn takes the snap, looks, fires a bullet pass near the 1st down marker. Looking for Harris. It was dropped incomplete. It would have been short of the 1st down marker had he made the catch anyway. And now it'll be 4th down and 5 for the blue team at about the 44-yard line.
Yeah, O'Corn forced the one into coverage there. Not many people open. Lucky that ball wasn't intercepted by one of the linebackers.
Yeah, when that ball glances off a receiver's hands, it is really anyone's ball. Fortunately, it fell into open space. O'Corn out of the gun, 4th down and 5. Walker split to his right. Harris wide right. Morris and Wangler to his left. Takes the snap, looks, finds Wangler at the 39-yard line. He made the catch, and it's going to be a matter of the spot, but it looks like the chains are going to move. Wangler wrapped up there by Sloss, and the chains do move. It as a 1st down for the blue team. 58 seconds to go here in the 4th quarter. Hurry up offense underway. O'Corn out of the gun. Takes the snap. Drops back to pass. Looks up the middle. Scrambles out toward his left. Throws off his back foot wide. Looking for Ian Bunting toward the sideline on the left side. In coverage. Pressuring on the play was Taco Charlton.
O'Corn certainly seems more comfortable throwing out of the pocket, is what we've learned on this drive. I don't think we've seen him make many throws sitting in the pocket. Much more comfortable scrambling out, making things happen with his feet, and then trying to find an open receiver.
You know, he looks kind of skittish, if you ask me. We'll see if that's something he gets over or something that'll continue to plague him if he does get reps with the first team during the regular season. 2nd and 10, O'Corn out of the gun. Walker to his left in the backfield. Takes the snap, drops back to pass. Throws, he's got Morris wide open on the right side. Morris out across the 30, across the 20, cuts inside and wrapped up at the 13-yard line. It was Diamante Thomas out there making the play, but a big pickup for the blue offense. They're inside the 15-yard line, 42 seconds to go here in the 4th quarter.
Didn't even seem like the Maize defense was accounting for Shane Morris. He came right over the middle, wide open, caught the ball for a huge gain, and now that blue team threatening.
O'Corn out of the gun, takes the snap quickly, drops back, looks to his right, now to his left, stays in the pocket, dropping back, throws out of the corner of the end zone, incomplete. O'Corn throws it away. Now a flag on the field, maybe a late hit coming here against Lawrence Marshall. It will be roughing the passer on Lawrence Marshall. You saw him looking a bit ashamed of himself in the backfield, lying down there on the field. So it'll be 1st and goal for the blue team, about the 8-yard line here. 30 seconds to go in the fourth quarter.
I know it's only the spring game, but you gotta love 30 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Michigan, the blue team on the 7-yard line, threatening to score to tie it up. Gotta love the competition.
Ball will be placed inside the 7. O'Korn under center. The defense discombobulated, scrambling to get into place. O'Korn takes the snap, turns, fakes the give to Walker, rolling out to his left. O'Korn looking toward the end zone, hesitates, now throws toward the corner, and it's knocked away. Good coverage there in the area. Diamante Thomas. O'Korn looking for Drake Harris, but there wasn't much space on that left sideline. Incomplete. 2nd and 6 now, 23 seconds to go in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, good decision there to throw it by O'Korn. If he would have ran, he had some space. Not sure if he would have got to the end zone and would have burned a lot of that clock, or they would have had to burn a timeout. So good decision there to throw it towards the corner and get the ball away, stop the clock.
That was a place only his receiver could have made a play.
Exactly.
O'Korn under center, a few tight ends lined up wide to the right. Kareem Walker in the backfield, bunting in motion to the left. O'Korn takes the snap, drops back to pass, under pressure, evades it, steps up, now off his back foot, throws into the turf. Incomplete. He was hit as he threw. It was Winovich pressuring him in the backfield. And O'Korn might be fortunate to avoid an intentional grounding penalty right there.
Yeah, he was lucky that ball wasn't intercepted. I mean, hit as he threw, throwing it towards the middle of the field, and it went to the ground pretty quick, but there was a defender right in that area. That ball could have easily been intercepted.
He was hit as he threw. With a timeout in hand, an intentional grounding might be worse than just taking the sack in that situation, but either would be debilitating for this blue team. 3rd down and 6, 16 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Blue team trails by 7. O'Korn out of the gun, takes the snap, looks to throw, steps up, rolling to his right, fakes a pass, cutting, diving toward the end zone. He's across the goal line and in. It is a touchdown on the run for John O'Korn, and this blue team is 1 point away from tying up this football game.
Yeah, great effort there from O'Korn. Put a couple cuts on a couple defenders, ran to the sideline to the corner, and then just dove and got the 6 points. Great effort. It's only the spring game, but guys are competing. Gotta love it.
Now, here is the question. I don't think Jim Harbaugh wants this to go to overtime. I think the fans might want to see OT here. 8 seconds left in the game. You're down 1. Are you going for 2?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It looks like the players on the blue sideline are all yelling for 2. It looks like they're going to go for 2. Harbaugh developing that competition, that competitive edge early.
I mean, at some point, these kids have got to go home and do their homework, no?
On a Friday night, though?
On a Friday night. Academics come first. Regardless, there are a lot of conferences on the field, a lot of chaos. I don't know if either coach expected to get to this point, but the blue team will be going for 2. O'Korn lined up under center. Morris and Harris out to the right, Wangler to the left. Walker in the backfield, and a timeout called on the sideline. Both teams will get a chance to deliberate and decide what they're going to throw out there on this play.
Yeah, this feels as close to a real game as you can get in the spring. Crowds on their feet. They're making some noise. They're calling timeouts to rethink strategy. This is as close to a regular season game as you're going to get in the spring.
Yeah, maybe even closer to the regular season than some of the early exhibition games
that
Michigan plays.
Without a doubt. I mean, some of those teams on the schedule, some of those FCS teams, I mean, this feels a little more intense than any of those games.
I certainly think that both of these teams right now, the Blue and Maize team, could take on Central Florida pretty safely.
Oh, without a doubt.
It's going to be a 2-point try for the blue team from the 3-yard line. Walker in the backfield. Morris and now Wangler out wide to the right. Drake Harris in single coverage against Jeremy Clark on the left side. Everybody close to the line of scrimmage. Maybe a time to send the house. O'Korn under center. Settles down the line. Hard count. Draws some defenders offside. Throws toward the sideline. It was a fade route for Harris, but the play blown dead. A neutral zone infraction, most certainly the call. Offside called on the defense, so now this 2-point conversion going to happen from the 1.5-yard line. Good little gamesmanship there by John O'Korn.
We'll see if we see that fullback dive that Jim Harbaugh loves in short yardage situations.
Oh man, the cojones to go to the fullback dive in a situation like this. Poggi lined up in the backfield, Walker behind him, McCorn under center. Takes the snap, gives to Poggi. Poggi crashes forward, and he is stacked up just short of the goal line. The Maize team storms onto the field, and I think Poggi just a bit short of the end zone. The Maize team is celebrating. They pretty much won it unless they're going to get some practice on their onside kicks out here.
Like I said, Jim Harbaugh loves the fullback dive in the short yardage situation. He went to Henry Poggi, and he was stopped by the defense. Looked like a lot like what we saw in that Minnesota game last year, that defensive front of Michigan standing tall.
The game is over, say the refs. So there are 8 seconds left, but that's purely academic in this situation. I like that call. My best against your best, trenches versus trenches, and Henry Poggi just a bit short of carrying the blue team to victory.
It's a classic Jim Harbaugh football. He loves that grind, hard-nosed football, and that's what we saw there. What a great ending to the spring game. Couldn't ask for any more than that.
Yeah, I'd identify a Maize player who made the stop on the play, but really it was all 11 of them forcing themselves into that offensive line. And in the end, I think it was Lawrence Marshall coming from around the end and pulling Poggi back down short of the goal line. But your final score from today's game, the Maize team wins 14-13. The Maize team led by Wilton Spade and Ty Isaac overcomes the blue team led by John O'Corn, Ian Bunting, Drake Harris, Drake Johnson, and the like. What are your takeaways from this game, Alex? Alec, sorry, my mistake.
You're good.
Sketchy on the names all over the field.
The quarterback battle is obviously what stuck out the most. I mean, that was the storyline heading into this game. John O'Corn showed us a lot on that last drive. He was able to make things happen with his feet.
And there was a challenge, apparently. The ruling on the field does stand as called. No reason to believe that it wouldn't.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not. Harbaugh down there, you can see him smiling, shaking hands with the referees. What an event here tonight at the Big House. Definitely got the fans pumped up about their 2016 Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see them play a little bit more. But for the rest of us, we are going to have to wait until September 3rd when the Wolverines take on the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors here at the Big House. Be sure to tune into all of our broadcasts of other happenings in the world of Michigan athletics. But for today's spring game, that's all we're going to have for you today. For Alec Geese, Jeremy Parks, Adam Brodnax, and Will Yang are here with us as well. I'm Morris Fabry, and I will wish you all a good night and a Go Blue. Thank you for tuning in.